All right, everybody. Good Wednesday afternoon. Meteorologist Alex Carter with you here in the Fox 54 Digital Weather Center. Another edition of Weather Aware Live. Thank you so much for joining us. Beautiful spring-like weather. Finally getting some of that warmth. Some upper 70s on the way tomorrow and Friday. So get ready for that. And we also have the foggy mornings starting to warm up as well. Each morning we're getting to about closer to, say, 55 to 57 to kick things off tomorrow. So spring is in the air, probably noticing the pollen count going up, and before you know it, showers and thunderstorms could be on our doorstep by Friday and Saturday. So that's a couple things that we'll be getting into here on this edition. Going to let y'all filter in for just a couple more minutes. Make sure to let us know where you're listening from, and we'll go ahead and get started here very shortly. I'd like to think that this spring-like pattern could continue into early March as well. That's something that we've been watching out for. You see the temperatures now. I'll go ahead and pop this up. There it is, 72 to 73 degrees at the moment. Just about what we were expecting. You know, these southwest winds have been rather persistent, and that's not going to change over the next few days. So as a result, I think we'll continue to climb closer to record status by Friday and Saturday, but it's going to be still just shy of those records. So right now, 73 in Augusta and Aiken, 71 in Waynesboro. And again, thanks for joining us for another edition of Weather Aware Live. I wanted to show you kind of the reason behind this pattern that we're in. Upper level in the atmosphere, you see this big ridge is what we call it, and I can trace that here. It's anywhere from Texas and Texoma all the way into the mid-Atlantic coast. You see this arcing wind traced by some upper-level cloud cover. Whenever you see that, that is a signal for what's going to be a big-time warm-up, and we typically see once or twice this in the month of February. So we don't typically get it, but once per month, you get a stretch of some really above-average days. So that upper-level jet stream is staying well to the north, and because of that, we're getting to warm up very nicely. Something else that we typically get this time of year, something we'll be touching on tonight, is moderate air quality. So the air quality is a little bit lower right now, and the reason why is we have some lower relative humidity values. We'll see that today and tomorrow. And when the humidity is low, here's what happens. We get some prescribed burns, and here's what we'll have headed into Thursday afternoon. Notice there, you see the splotches of red. Those are controlled burns that we'll be having. And this is just the model simulating where we could see a few of those. You usually see those up near Mistletoe State Park where we have a lot of pines and a lot of forest space. You usually see that down closer to Savannah River site, Sardis and Girard, closing in on the Alexander community in southern Burke County. And these prescribed burns, we typically have these when we have warm, windy weather. We're going to have that breezy southwest flow that you felt today, and those will keep going each and every day. So that could bring some moderate air quality. You might notice a bit of a haze outside today, Thursday, and on Friday as well. And looking at the next 3 days, high temperatures are going to be fueling that as well. The warmth, see the relative humidity values are going to start to shrink a little bit, though, as we head into the weekend, and that's because we're getting some rain that's coming into the fold. So I think tomorrow we will see some controlled burns. Friday and Saturday, it's the rain days in your 7-day forecast. So if you have any plans, I think Friday night could see a few showers. Saturday, I think we could see some showers and some thunderstorms, some heavier rain. And you look at that 3-day, it's going to be pretty warm out there. We're closer to record highs. We're not going to quite get there. Actually, let's look at some of the records and see where we're at. So today, hitting about 74, nowhere close. 82 is the number to beat back in 1981. Thursday, about 4 degrees shy of those record highs. And then Friday will be about 4 degrees shy as well. If you remember, just even 8 years back, 2018 hit 83 degrees. So definitely have been just slightly warmer than this. Starting to feel like summer sometimes here in the CSRA. Records in early March could even get up to the low 90s. So just a test to the pattern that we're in, staying well above average, but that's all going to come caving down with this next round of some showers and thunderstorms. And just looking in, seeing if y'all have any comments, anything like that. Thanks for joining us this afternoon. Just talking about this warm weather and the rain chances that await. The good news is Friday and Saturday's rain, that's going to wash off some of the pollen that is developing. Pollen getting into the thick of the season now, late February through mid-April. You can bet the bank you're going to see those clouds of yellow starting to develop. We won't see the yellow really collecting on your car until maybe the end of the month and early March. But the pollen count, just because you don't see it on the car, doesn't mean it's not high yet. And it's going to stay high through the weekend. That colder weather happens, and that pollen count's going to start to drop a little bit as we get yet another freeze here. I think lows will get down to about the 20s on Tuesday morning. So getting ready for that. Pollen count is going to stay high, but we do need some rain as well. So that rain is going to be welcome sight on multiple counts. This is your latest drought monitor. So this was updated on February 12th, and you look at that. I mean, we're in a moderate to severe drought across much of the region, an extreme drought north of Highway 378. So our communities like Chenault, Mount Carmel, Tignal, Rail in desperate need of rain because we're entering the growing season. The peach crop really starts to get going around here in the early spring months. We're in need, and the rainfall amounts, they could be pretty sizable in a few areas Friday and Saturday, but I don't anticipate this rain being super beneficial. And here's why, because it doesn't look to be as widespread on Friday. Hopefully we can get it to be more widespread on Saturday. Now, here's where the Euro and the GFS are maybe painting a little bit of a different picture. Notice some plentiful rainfall totals. We need these. If this comes to fruition, which I hope it does, we'd be in a good shape. I think anywhere from 1 inch to 2 inches is the ceiling for this rainfall event. The GFS and the Euro are really congealing the rain. You'll see that in the models that we'll show in just a moment. I think we're going to see some spottier totals than what you see here. Most of us in that family have a 1/2 inch to 1.5 inches. I think 1.5 inches is mainly the ceiling. Here's kind of what we're looking at. So this is the weekend shaking out, and a little bit even tomorrow. That southwest flow is increasing so much, I think we'll get a little bit of moisture that will amount to a few light showers, mainly during the peak heating of the day for your Thursday. So we're going to see some sunshine tomorrow after some patchy, dense fog. Then we get to Friday, and you see more moisture settling in. The cold front boundaries well to the north and west, and the moisture's increasing out ahead of it. Now, the thunderstorms, they're really stirred up in the South Carolina upstate, North Georgia, and the North Carolina mountains because they're getting that topographic lift. The mountains are lifting up some of those showers. For us, we won't see as much heavier rain like that on Friday. Here's the latest look at Futurecast, though, showing you a few light showers. See how spotty those totals are? That's why we're saying some areas might not get a whole lot and some areas could get a decent helping. It all depends on where that moisture sets up, and I think the highest moisture, as typical in these setups, is going to be in southern Georgia, North Florida, where we typically see a lot of that Gulf moisture beginning to settle in. Now let's take it to Friday in the evening. You see just off and on waves of spotty showers. It's going to be just warm enough where a couple rumbles of thunder could be possible, but severe weather, the jet streams mainly staying to our north, so I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of that. Let's move it into Saturday, and this is off and on waves. I'm going to slow that down and kind of break this down. I-85 is going to get the brunt of it overnight Friday into early Saturday morning. Atlanta to Greenville. Looks to be some pretty heavy showers in that direction. Then we get further into the late morning hours, and that starts to move into the CSRA. If we're going to see the heaviest totals, it's going to be Saturday as that front compresses on top of the area, and you see there some of those heavier showers trying to develop. But if I look this up, and I'm going to go ahead and put in our high-resolution rainfall total data, I actually don't think it's going to be nearly as much as what the GFS and the Euro were showing you, just as we were touching on. Let's take it all the way out. Let's see. Yep, there we go. So this is through Saturday at 6 o'clock. Let's take it out to about 1 o'clock in the afternoon and see what that's going to show you. Because I don't think it's going to be the picture that the GFS will show. I think it's going to be a little bit different. Yep, so some places hardly getting anything, some places getting you up closer to 1 inch. And granted, this is Saturday at 1 o'clock, so the rain's not done until Saturday night and early Sunday morning. But even by Saturday afternoon, you're seeing what we were just talking about. The rainfall totals are going to be splotchy. The GFS and the Euro, those models are more long range, so they don't account for the fine differences in the forecast quite like our in-house does, and it's showing you there. Peak rainfall totals, I think, get up to 1 inch in this setup. Maybe, if we're lucky, 1.5 inches. But looking at a much better pattern for rain as we enter the month of March, as the jet stream gets more active, as it always does. But we need to see the rain in the month of March because, as we talk about oftentimes, this is a setup where April and May, you typically don't get a lot of rain around here. 2 to 3 inches is the max amount that we will see. So I'm going to go off the screen for a moment so you can see that 7-day forecast a lot better. Sunday's going to get windy behind this front moving in. we're talking about weather whiplash at its finest, because we go from low 70s on Saturday with showers and even a few thunderstorms to Sunday being cold and windy, gust howling out of the north and west at about 35. I wouldn't be surprised to see a couple gusts reaching 40 to 45 behind that front on Sunday. And then look how much cooler it gets. We get a true taste of winter Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week. So looking pretty mild. It's not going to be too bad out there, but I do think that we will see a return of winter-like temperatures Tuesday morning. That's the one that's going to have the bite to it, right about 26 degrees out the door early next week. So that's the latest breakdown of the forecast. Again, thank you guys so much for tuning in here on another edition of Weather Aware Live. We're going to have several more updates coming to you this evening on Fox 54 News at 5, 6:30, and of course 10 and 11 as well. You can also find us on the WFXG Fox 54 weather app, where we'll be posting some updates here over just the next couple of hours. So thanks again for joining us. Enjoy that beautiful spring-like weather. We hope to see you soon here on Weather Aware Live. Have a great rest of your Wednesday.